Hi, my name is Chelsea Budum. I'm a biomedical engineering PhD student here at Michigan State University. I'm the president for MSU SciComm and the co-host for the Sci-Files on Impact 89 FM. MSU SciComm stands for the MSU Science Communication organization. But what is science communication? Science communication can be done in multiple ways. It can be through writing, through speaking, through art, through policy, or even through outreach. Whenever we started MSU SciComm, just very recently, less than a year ago, we wanted to figure out, what do we want to do? How can we really impact people in the most efficient way and also get the community together as well? There are so many different ways that we can do so. If we write something though, someone may not see it. If we speak it, they may not hear it. But what about art? We figured that art can reach everyone. Art is really awesome because it has no language technically. It has a universal language. Anyone can look at art and get something out of it. You don't need to speak a specific language in order to understand it or have a specific background in order to get what that piece is saying. Last fall of 2018, the MSU Broad Art Lab had an open call session where we were able to pitch an idea about bringing together scientists and artists from different disciplines and areas throughout the community. The scientists were there to guide the artist. The artist had the skills to create the art, but they weren't exactly sure about what direction to take it. So the scientists were able to say, this is more accurate because I studied it. I personally really love art. In order to help fund my undergraduate career, I was a henna artist, and that was a really fun experience for me. And since I have a little bit of a background in art, I was able to help bridge the connection with these scientists and artists along with my team.
My name is Brittany Benson, and I'm the Public Engagement Coordinator at the MSU Broad Art Museum. I got involved with SciComm through their application at Art Lab. We have a community open call, and they were interested in bringing together different departments from on campus and different disciplines. They came up with a Sci Art competition. They organized panels connecting people from the different areas to look at ways to communicate science through art, and they paired up different scientists and artists from on campus to create new projects. We supported them through their kind of proposal process, and as they selected different participants, they held a panel in our space about the different topics, and we had open work sessions in our art lab space. I really enjoyed working with SciComm over the past academic year. It's been great to see their growth and how they've really accelerated what they're doing and their momentum to keep doing new things and connecting people on campus.
We were able to have people from the community, from faculty members to undergraduate, but even people that weren't even at MSU over there, just wondering, what do scientists do exactly? And we grew from them. We started teaching people about science writing, science speaking, and we started to actually pair together these scientists and artists. We created teams of people that were from different disciplines, and that's really cool that people that were not from the same field were able to work together and join to create this wonderful exhibition.
My name is Amalia Bardo. I am a fourth year undergrad in chemical engineering. I am SciComm Science Art Chair, and I've been heavily involved in coordinating everything for the Science Art Show and the exhibit that's going on. Yeah, so I got started in SciComm when I volunteered at IQ, like the Institute for Quantitative Health Science Engineering. They were doing like a day with the Science Festival where they brought in a lot of kids and everything. So I volunteered through that, and that's where I first learned about SciComm because they threw the event. And then they needed someone to fill their science art chair position, and I'm really into art and science since I do research, so I thought it would be a good fit. And then so I just got started in trying to pair groups because we had received proposals, but not everyone was paired up yet. So I tried to find like-minded people and find artists that would fit their projects. I feel like art and science can both be creative modes of research and exploration. I think they're just different ways about going about it, because I feel like you can still take a subject and explore it through art, and you can do the same thing in science, but you just get a more quantitative answer through science. For me, researching the local artists and stuff was really fun for me to try to see where I could see where people's projects were going and just thinking of ideas for them. So I guess what I'm most excited about for October 19th is that I've been talking to a lot of these people and coordinating over email, and I think it'll be really cool to see all of my hard work come together and getting to see everyone's projects actually on the wall and in one space, and I think that'll be really like fulfilling, and it makes it all worth it.
My name is Daniel Puentez, and I'm a third-year graduate student here in the Department of Physics and Astronomy, but I'm also a PhD candidate here at the National Superconducting Cyclotron Laboratory based here at Michigan State University. I serve as the treasurer for what's known as MSU SciComm. It is a new organization that has begun this past year, focused on the idea that everybody should be able to understand science, and we're trying to teach scientists on how to communicate science in the first place. We find that whenever we talk to scientists, or the public perception of scientists in the general way anyways, is that they don't understand how to communicate with anybody that isn't a scientist. When they talk to somebody, they throw out all of this jargon, and it makes the science useless. So in order for people to feel, one, more connected with science, and two, to help train the scientists to feel more connected with the public, we created this organization to combine the best of both worlds and make it happen. My involvement with the Science Art Exhibition has been serving as the manager of all of the funds that have been used to help pay for the science art pieces in the first place. I've also been serving as the point of contact between us and Physics Girl, also known as Diana Cowern, who is a science communicator and world-class YouTuber amongst all of the different science communicators that exist. What she focuses on is taking these concepts that are very hard to understand typically in a physics classroom and turns it into a media art form that anybody can understand and really appreciate whenever they're watching these videos. And in fact, it has been especially popular amongst children and youth. They love watching her videos, whether it's learning how to make a cloud in your mouth, to understanding how gravitational waves pass through us on a regular day-to-day basis. Science communication can be interpreted and exist in a variety of different ways. For example, I co-host a new show on 88.9 FM, The Impact, called The Sci-Files, where we interview different students that do research here on campus and talk to them about it in ways that anybody would be able to just tune in and understand the science that we're talking about. The whole motivation behind starting this show was to, one, provide students an avenue to practice talking about their science in a general way, but also to give the Mid-Michigan population accessibility to the science that's happening here at Michigan State University. Science affects us on an everyday basis, and people don't think about it that often. Hopefully with this new show, they can start thinking about how important of a role that science plays in their everyday lives.
Hi, I'm Jolene Delima. I'm a graduate student in the Department of Plant Biology, but I study how students study biology. So my focus is undergraduate biology education, and in particular, I look at how context influences the way students reason, especially about evolution. For example, if I ask them the same question, but ask about two different animals, students reason differently about evolution. So that's what Zoe and I were discussing, and how to interpret best as an art piece. And the two pieces of art that Zoe has produced are sort of her vision of my research, and it looks at how a human and a fly would use reasoning to get to the same destination, and how the pathways they might follow may be fuzzy for one and more direct for the other.
My name is Kylie Smith. I'm a second-year PhD student in biomedical engineering, and I work at the Institute for Quantitative Health Sciences and Engineering on Michigan State's campus. I'm currently the secretary for MSU SciComm, but I started as a programs chair, so I helped coordinate all of the events that we were putting on. The first area that we received funding for MSU SciComm was in science art, where we were awarded a grant written by David Filipovich, granted to us by the MSU Broad Art Lab. We started here with science art, where we were really interested in bringing scientists and artists from the MSU community together to create a piece of artwork that the public could interact with. So really my main interest in this project is to have people engage with science in a way that's exciting to them, in a way that they might not have done before, to show them science is for everybody and you can get something from it.
I'm Zack Conan. I'm the outreach coordinator for the National Superconducting Cyclotron Laboratory at Michigan State University. We are, of course, very interested in communicating our own research to the public, and we're always looking for new and exciting ways to do that. And so, of course, we were thrilled when I found out that MSU SciComm had the same goals, and we're very active in coming up with new programs and activities to connect with the public. So we immediately had to coordinate our efforts together and collaborate on some sort of project, and finding out that there would be an art exhibit that was this clash of science and the various arts. We've done a lot of those kinds of things in the past and are always looking for other ways, because there's a lot of audiences out there that would be very interested in seeing art science expressed that way instead of some other way, for instance. So it was a clear match made in heaven. Our laboratories are rare isotope research facilities, meaning that while you are chock full of nuclei, and so am I, the kinds of nuclei we have lying around on Earth are stable and common, but the nuclei that we want to study here are rare and radioactive. The only way we're going to get those particular nuclei is by accelerating the stable ones we have and smashing them very hard into a target and breaking them apart to make something new, something hopefully very exciting. Doesn't exist on Earth, but does exist in stars. Stars make these nuclei all the time. So a lot of our research is in fact directly related to how stars work. So we've come up with a lot of different ways to communicate this in new ways. I mean, we've had tours and talks, pretty simple things, and we've been very involved in the MSU Science Festival. But knowing that we had the planetarium across the street, it was a no-brainer to create a virtual tour of the laboratory, because on that dome you can project a photosphere of the interior areas that we can't actually go on regular tours. So the person sitting there could actually feel like they were in that space, which is fantastic. And so we have a virtual tour now, so especially for groups that can't get in, or maybe they can't walk around for a long time. It's a wonderful way to experience the laboratory. And of course, we've also been working with the Wharton Center, because they are right next door and they have a wonderful arts community. We're working on a dance performance with them. It's coming up. It's kind of an exciting idea. There's a dance company that has already done performances really about physics principles and communicating that. I mean, it's physics. Dance is physics anyway. So we are actually putting together a nuclear research dance performance that will come along in March of 2020. It'll be presented 2 school shows on March 19th and 20th, a public show, tickets are on sale now, on the 21st, that's a Saturday. So we have some really wonderful spaces here in the laboratory, especially because we keep building on new additions. So in the new auditorium space that we have this wonderful gallery that we often use for demos and things during science festivals, but also lots of conferences. We've had a wonderful photography exhibit in this space for quite some time, and it was all done by physicists. But now we're kind of excited to be getting a wide range of new art that was specifically collaborated on by scientists and artists in concert. And so this is a great place to exhibit, and we're kind of excited to have people come over and see it.
My name is Mark Reimers. I'm a professor of neuroscience and biomedical engineering. I work in the Institute for Quantitative Health Sciences and Engineering, and I'm particularly interested in the computational aspects of brain function. So with MSU SciComm, I've been trying to get an illustration of the brain in action, human brain in action, where we're representing brain activity by lights, and we're hoping to make this interactive so that you as a volunteer could come in. We could put a portable headset on your head, and we can then represent your brain activity, at least on the surface of the cortex, visibly for everyone to see. I want to say I found everybody at MSU SciComm to be helpful beyond the call of duty, that they have really gone out of their way to help make this happen, and I really appreciate that.
So later that night, at 7 p.m., you can go to the Grid, the bar arcade, where you can drink beer that the Sci-Files brewed with Saugatuck Brewing Company. This beer is called Atomic Ale, so you'd be drinking beer for science. And this is a really cool event because also the interviewees from the Sci-Files will be at the loft of the Grid speaking about their research. So you can play arcade games against these scientists, you can win prizes too if you win the arcade game, and you can drink beer for science. So it's a really awesome event that people who are older can go and enjoy as well. That there are different ways that people of all ages can enjoy science. There are different ways that we can all interact together and be together as a community.